I mean, that's the theory I'm leaning to the most. Do we just go live? I think I see live.
Yeah, we're on. Now you're saying the Schumann resonance. I recognized somebody was doing.
Busy just dinged me though. She said it showed live on her stream, but she can't find the video. I said, I know, it's very weird. So we definitely aren't showing up, although people were notified that we're live. So that's strange. But
That is weird. Don't make any sense.
yeah, it makes no sense at all to me. I've never seen anything like it. Like I said, I've never.
It might be because my connection's so bad. It's up live and now it's not.
Yeah, that must be what it is.
It came up on my screen live and now it's not coming up live.
Yeah, it's still showing live here, but yeah, it's not showing online. But either way, like I said, I heard most of what you said there. It sort of broke up a little bit. But I think you were saying about cleansing to try to recreate the orb experience and then realizing that it's more mental than physical, something along that lines. And if that's what you were saying, yeah, it's definitely 100% mental and basically 0% physical is the way I look at it anyhow, you know, because I look at it basically spiritually. And it basically tells you all
as so what's mental? Other than us.
The big picture, the reconnecting, the battle. Like you were saying, you wanted to fast, you were trying to improve, you're trying to clean yourself up. But what I've come to sort of do is basically what man thinks needs cleaned up and what the spirit thinks need cleaned up is two different things, first of all, in my eyes. So when I feel conviction from the spirit about something, that's what I work on cleaning up. I don't try to clean up everything that I think is wrong with me because man sort of taught me that. I clean up what the spirit convicts me of at the moment. And it usually does it. Now, I don't know if it's everybody but me, but with me, it does it like one problem at a time. You know what I mean? Like my first biggest problem was like jealousy. So that was the one we worked on and get rid of first. And then there's anger. So we're working on that and getting rid of that. You know what I mean? But the spirit never bombards you with all this needs change. Yeah, there's a lot I need to change. But the minute I try to think about it and do it is the minute I fail because I have to be, it has to be done through the spirit in my eyes. Again, this is how I look at things. So until the spirit convicts me, then I know the spirit.
This is what I want. Some of the stuff I wanted to talk to you about is we're not on. We're not, this would be great. We're just not on. Yeah. I found that I'm the only one watching this thing. I'm the only one in here. Oh, now I'm not even in here, and I'm still looking at it.
Yeah, see, I don't see you at all.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
That is so weird.
You have it?
Yeah, I'm looking right at
you're breaking up a lot. I'm breaking up. I don't know. I'm going to have to get a better connection or something if I'm going to keep doing this.
Yeah, if we're going to go live, you might have to have a better connection. But hey, we can still talk a little bit, even if we ain't live. It's good to hear from you anyhow. You know,
yeah, man.
It'd be good to share with everybody, but hey, we can do it again when you get a better connection. Yeah, it's showing live on my end, but I have no video anywhere that I can find. It is so weird.
One in here.
So weird.
I mean, I wonder if it'll record later. Maybe I'll get to put it up later. We'll just do it that way.
Yeah, maybe
I wanted to ask you what the Mandela effect. What was the first Mandela effect? Was it like, was there one?
No, it was sort of, I don't even remember exactly. how I stumbled across it, to be honest. But I think it was, I know the first one that that caught my eye, that got my attention, as far as I can recollect, was probably Jim Neighbors. When I had heard that he died, I was like, now wait a minute. Jim Neighbors already died. And the only reason I know it, and it's so personal to me, is because my father was a big Jim Neighbors fan. We always watched Gomer Pyle together, and we always watched, he had, Jim Neighbors was an awesome singer. A lot of people don't even know that. But he was an amazing singer, usually a lot of gospel and stuff. So my father had all kind of Jim Neighbors albums. I mean, he was a big Jim Neighbors fan from TV and records. And when he died, I remember talking to my dad about it, and we went over and watched the big specials they were having and all that stuff. And then Jim Neighbors died long after my dad died in this, you know what I mean? So I'm like, now wait a minute. But I had no way to call dad and say, dude, Jim Neighbors just died, because dad had already died. You know what I mean? But there's no doubt in my mind that Jim Neighbors died long before. And now he's died like 2 or 3 times, I think. I can't even keep track anymore. He's died at least 3 times, I think.
Right.
So that's probably I don't know if that's the first one I noticed, but I think when I noticed it, it was like just a video by someone I subbed to, and I don't even know which one for sure, because it was on a couple different sub channels that I was subbed to. And they were going through the whole list. You know, they had like 20 most prominent Mandela effects or whatever. It was the first time I heard about it, but they was going through everything, like, you know, Berenstein and Luke and all of it. And Jim Neighbors and, of course, Mandela, how it got named, which I do remember Mandela dying, because I remember watching that on TV. I remember one of the news dudes on location in his prison cell where he had died, showing how he had ended his days and where it was and how horrible it was. And so there's no doubt in my mind that Mandela died back in prison, not out of prison later. So, but which one was first, I have no clue, because I sort of got bombarded with a bunch at once. And everything on the list they were saying, I was like, oh my goodness, that's absolutely right. And then the Bible changes came along that I heard about. And that sealed the deal for me. Of course, I already knew.
Sure that,
yeah, but I already knew, like I said, with Jim Neighbors, I already knew. And then, of course, Luke, I Am Your Father. I was a Star Wars nut. So I knew that was crazy. And then later, C-3PO's leg. That was like a while later for me. But there's another one that just crazy. But so I pretty much.
You know, you mentioned that, and recently I saw a picture, I believe, and he had silver on his shoulders, just a strip, and it's like a strip, and a strip around his neck. And I was like, I really don't think that was there.
Hey, I found our chat.
People in here.
Looks like Candy Cupcakes is here. You. Let's see if it hangs in there. So I think we are live.
We're just doing shout outs.
Cool. Let me pop this chat out so I can get both windows open and do this the right way. So yeah, I think we're live. I think they are hearing us. That's cool. Now, where the heck were we? I got lost because I've seen the chat and get all excited. Oh, the Mandela. The thing with me is, oh, go ahead.
No, I asked you what your fact was, and you were saying you're not really sure Jim Neighbors was big. And you mentioned, notice that he's got silver on his arms, on his shoulders, like arms, and as well. And I'm pretty sure the guy was all gold. Saw that Rogue One, and and you really can't see it, and that's supposedly takes place right after or right before episode 4, where he does have a silver leg. But then again, I might have seen the extended.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but definitely originally he was all gold. I mean, I don't have any of the original movies, but I
All
know
the
when I seen
original
it in the theaters, he was
movies.
definitely gold.
I have the original, the Sorcerer's Stone, and and that's the one I want to see. I got to go find a VCR. They don't even sell them anymore. There, because I'm quite sure they said Haggard Sorcerer's Stone, and now it's coming out everywhere that it's stone. Great from people like, oh, it's the English version. Okay.
You broke up real bad on me there. Was you talking about the Sorcerer's Stone and the Philosopher's Stone thing?
Fantastic. So, can everybody in chat hear this? Because this is probably getting deleted if the whole thing's getting chopped up.
Yeah, you're good for a while, and then it really breaks up, and then you're good again, and it really breaks. It's like every other sentence is in and out. I don't know if they can hear us in chat or not. I asked them, but no one's answering yet. There must be like a major delay. But yeah, one good thing is the Mandela effect never freaked me out like it did a lot of people, because I had already been down so many rabbit holes on my journey that it was just another thing. It fascinated me more than anything. It was awesome.
So,
to
your
me.
experiences.
Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, reality's changing. All right, that makes sense with all the other craziness that's going on. It didn't shock me at all.
What was that? What was this?
Well, just
What were the things that were?
well, sort of at the time I discovered that was at the time I got sent down the deep dark rabbit hole, taken into the wilderness, shall we say, and led to investigate the children and SRA and MK Ultra and just bad things. So after seeing and going through all that, the fact that Jim Neighbors died a couple times and C3PO had a silver leg, and it just wasn't a shock. Once you've seen the depths of depravity, then the fact that reality changing almost could be a good thing. Because I see a lot of other things changing that is good, like a lot of these things coming to light and breaking up. Yeah, nothing major yet, but a lot more than was happening. So I see positive things happening. We tend to focus on the negative. And by we, I don't mean just us. I mean everyone in general. I mean, we're trained to. The news, TV's all negative. So we tend
That's
to.
what you'll get. I guarantee you, if you focus on the negative, and I can say that's true from experience. Just electronics, and took a break from weaned myself off a lot of the things. Physical reality came in strong, and that's where my focus was, and that's what I got. And I realized, why aren't I mean, I would see a change or see something that led. Why would I see any big Mandela effects? Well, I'm not really watching, or, checking out what's going on. So I wasn't focused on it.
Yeah, exactly. When we focus on the physical, I mean, that's exactly what we're not supposed to do, according to, again, my beliefs. We're supposed to focus on the spiritual. Forget all about the physical. I mean, the body hates it. Your mind, your flesh, your everything inside you, and will scream against it. But it's exactly what we have to do. We can't keep feeding the physical. We can't. They're like, I mean, energy matters in a very important way. I mean, not to extremes like some people take it, but we can feed the good side or the bad side. We're supposed to be feeding the good side. And we feed the good side, in my opinion, by loving our neighbors, loving our Father, and following Jesus and doing what he said and being led by the Spirit. I still don't know if they can hear me. Nobody answered me yet.
They did,
but that's,
I just think there's a big lag.
Yeah, I think there's a giant lag. But that's the way I tend to look at it. So it's hard not to focus on the physical, but we really can't. We have to focus on the spiritual. We have to fight a mental spiritual battle. First of all, we have to fight our own battle in our own head. You know what I mean? We have to, most of what people look at in Christianity and in the Bible, they tend to want to project onto others. But it's all about getting ourselves right. You know, we're all Moses at a time, or we might all be Peter at a time, or we might be going through a Paul stage, or we might, we might be David at this moment. That book's all about our journey personally, a lot more than it is about what other people are supposed to be doing, if you know what I'm trying to say. We tend to worry too much about correcting each other if we see a fault than working on ourselves, which is exactly what Jesus meant when he said, take the beam out of your own eye before you try to get the gnat out of your brother's. We got to work on ourselves. It's all about getting yourself right before you can even think about doing anything to help anyone else. You can't possibly help anyone else if you're not right yet. And the only way you can get right, in my opinion, is to get right with the Father and get that Spirit that'll lead you into all righteousness. But that's how I look at it. And that's why the Mandela effect didn't really freak me out, because I'm like, well, it don't matter. The Father's got it all. Whatever's happening, it's all planned anyway, or it's being allowed, so it don't matter.
Agreed, but that's boring.
Well, not really, because it's going to be a heck of a fight.
I'm like, yes, I understand what you're saying. The terminology for me, but not by much.
Yeah, that's the thing. A lot of times it's just different terms. A lot of us think the same things, but we think we don't because we're talking in different terms. But we're talking about the same thing, basically. And that's a big problem, especially among like the Christian community. Because if you say something a little wrong, then they can take it and run with it. Which is the whole reason that Satan's done what he's done and mixed the truth in with all the religions. I mean, there's a little bit of truth in everything. But if you say something like getting in touch with your inner spirit, well, that could be taken too new agey for some uptight Christian. And you know what I mean? But it's exactly part of what you need to do. Jesus was sort of new agey when you read the real Jesus. You know what I mean? He does talking about getting in touch with the Father. But New Age takes it to a higher self. They've twisted it enough.
Yeah.
They've hidden the truth in everything, basically. So that if you stick to one or the other, you will never find the truth, because the truth isn't in just one. And most Christians really don't like to hear that, because, of course, to them, it is just one way. And it is just one way through Jesus. But that can cover a lot of things. We tend to try to put God in a box, and that's the biggest mistake we make. Just because you're coming through Jesus, in my opinion, again, and I will say this in my opinion because it's going to probably upset a lot of people, but just because you've got to come through Jesus, don't mean you ever had to know that name, if that makes sense. You can follow Jesus without even realizing you're following Jesus. I see it happen.
When you say follow Jesus, it wasn't wanted to be followed, and
exactly.
When do you know his teachings, trying to teach?
Well, by following him, I mean he basically taught us how to reconnect to the Father. He did what he needed to do so that we would have the opportunity to reconnect to the Father, because that was the problem. We had got disconnected. We got hijacked. So he taught us how to do it. So we have to follow basically what he said. And we can reconnect to the Father. And when we reconnect to the Father, then we get the Spirit. And once we get the Spirit, it's all downhill from there as long as we listen to it, because it's going to give us the power to fight any bad thing that comes our way. It's going to lead us to all truth.
Right.
It's going to,
No.
I mean, it's can't lose. But it isn't a change in
This is
reality
you
in
I
a
have.
physical form. What's that?
Okay. I said, since I have you on my channel, I'll go ahead and
Blurt out part of my definition. Or see, to me,
was not Jesus's.
I feel that Jesus, or Yeshua, whatever deity that we're speaking, found what, and he was telling us, hey, you could do this too. He found it. The Christ to me is an energy. It is, we all have the Christ within us, and it's a name. I don't like doing that, but I don't know what else to do. I'm physical right now, and I'm using. I think some groups call it the Atman or the Buddha. I don't know. I was brought up knowing or understanding it as, not knowing, but understanding it as the Christ, and it was the liaison between man and God. And that's, Jesus, or label we want to give, became the of the Christ. He brought the Christ into him, and he was just able to peer through the illusion that people would believe. I mean, they probably to him, it probably wasn't that big of a deal. I mean, I'm not saying it's a big deal. I'm sure he took care of and did what he had to do, but I don't think he was. What am I trying to say here? Things, and to us, they were miracles. It was magic. But to him, it was, well, this is the way it should be. This is what we should be doing. This is how you're supposed to live your life. And I mean, if we use the definitions, then shifting his consciousness into a timeline where he shifted himself and the group into, can you shift other people? If they believe it. If they believe it, and he says, yeah, okay, I'm going to feed the masses with this one. Look, if they're all believing it, then it's going to be simple. All line where all along. The bread was already there. I mean, I'm really breaking it down. And I don't know, let me say, but I'm just always thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. You broke up a good bit there again, but
I'm sure, and so are you.
Yeah. Hopefully they can hear us all right in chat, or maybe it'll be better when we upload. But yeah, and again, we're just speaking different terms, but about the same thing. And that's the problem. That's why the enemy hid the Christ consciousness into the New Age movement. So the minute you try to talk about the fact that we need to see, Jesus had, and I think, let me see who just said that in chat. They said exactly what I wanted to say. Wake up news. The Spirit of the Father was in Jesus. Absolutely. That's the point. And Jesus also told us that same Spirit that he had, that he did all this stuff with, was coming to live in us. Now, a lot of Christians profess to believe this, but yet they do nothing with that Spirit that's now come to live in them. And that's what we're supposed to be doing. That's, in my opinion, again, the return of Christ. It is us. The clouds is us. They keep waiting for Jesus to come back and save us, and Jesus did his part. It's time for us to do our part and help him. He's going to come with tens of thousands of his saints. Who do you think they are? You know, we're supposed to be doing stuff right now. He told us greater things than he did we would do. But do you see any greater things being done? Only by the fake ones. You see fake healings. You see fake spiritual gifts everywhere because people don't understand. They link it back to physical. And the minute you link it back to physical, when he said, you'll do greater things than me, he meant we're going to make blind eyes open. We're going to make deaf ears hear. We're going to raise dead. We're going to do all that on a spiritual level. So by teaching others and by sharing your knowledge, you're doing greater things than he did. If you can open the eyes of 3 or 4 people to the Father,
I really don't think that's what he meant. I'm sorry.
What do you think he meant?
I think he meant that we'll be able to heal and do the things that he's doing, but even more spectacular things. I mean, isn't that what that says to you?
Well, I'm not saying that the physical part isn't possible, but that isn't the goal. That's our flesh again. See, our flesh is always thinking physical. How can this benefit the physical? That's always a fleshly thought. We're supposed to think spiritual things. So how can this benefit?
What would be the point? Okay, but why be physical then?
Well, you're not supposed to be physical. Absolutely. Why are we physical? You shouldn't be physical. The old man has to die. The flesh has to die. We're stuck in this body, but we don't have to be physical. We're in this world, but we don't have to be of it. We've got to deny the flesh. We've got to deny the pride. What's that?
I said I've heard that enough times this week.
Now you're
in the world, not of it. Be in the world, not of it.
Yeah, exactly. And be in the flesh, not of it. I mean, Jesus made it as plain as could be. Part of getting back to the Father is dying to yourself. That's why I said the biggest battle we have first is us. It's our own mind. We have to battle ourselves. We have to start thinking on a bigger level, not just this physical level. So yeah,
right. And however you do that, however you do it, however other people do it, it doesn't matter because it's beyond that, because it's about the collective. Okay, so if we all individually can agree on one thing or another, okay, we can create. We can't create. You know, if there's any doubt, you're not going to create. But what I've been doing for this last month, I'm creating because I couldn't get out of my head with the negative stuff, and the negative stuff was happening. It's, you know, I'm to me, yeah, it's happening. It's where my focus was, and I was doing that. But okay, that's me individually, and I'm failing, and to me, it's not a failure, but you know, it's okay. I did this, and I couldn't get out of my head. I know exactly why this happened, but I have to battle through that for me individually before I can go into a collective. We're creating. There can be no doubt in a collective, you know, if it's going to happen. Any doubt will pollute it. It's individually. So,
I agree.
I'm learning.
I agree on most levels other than the creating part. Now, we can co-create, but we can only, to say we create, we can sort of create, but only what the Father wants. As long as we're doing his will, okay, it might be possible that we created something. But
okay. Not and to change the definitions, I would say of the Father would be what's in my heart. So I have to line up what's in my heart. I have to feel with my heart. My heart is where
your definition of the Father is. That's what I'm thinking. Because I can't, I'm not going to be able to create a head because it's been polluted by so much. What do I desire? I don't even know what I desire. Who knows what they desire? When you have a chance to say, hey, you know what? You can have anything you want. This is what you got to do to get it. Hour. What do I want? What do I want first? You can only pick one thing. You really only want to do one thing. And then what do I get first? Well, let's get the car. You know, that's not because you're not lining up with your heart. What does your heart want? And your mind will jump in and say, well, we want to feed the poor and we don't want any war, we want world peace. That stuff's been implanted in your head as well.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not your heart. You want those things, but you know, what do you desire from your heart? If you got to line your heart up with your head, with your mind, with your thinking. That's why the orbs projected on me. Correct thinking was one of the things on the list. That's actually pretty important. You thinking negative things. I'm learning that. I've learned that. I'm stopping myself left and right, and I also want to throw in that right before the full moon is the hardest for me to get out of my head. Whatever that is, or if it has anything to do with anything, anytime I get agitated, is later, everything's great. If I'm able to push my way through the agitation, may be a shift occurring. Every time I get agitated, all I do is jump into the drama. I don't sit back and go, wait a minute, there's a shift occurring, let it happen. And I think that was one of the biggest things I've learned in the past month is to let it happen. Just accept whatever that's bothering you is there because it's bothering you. If you just accept it and your heart realizes, you don't need this, it goes away. That was one of the biggest things I learned.
It's part of it. I was going to say that's part of the flesh dying. When you realize, you don't need that. That's part of the flesh dying. And the only thing I disagree with that you said there is basically that that our heart is basically what I call the Father. The Father to me is the creator of everything. And that's sort of where the New Age and like I said, I do believe a good bit of New Age stuff because Jesus taught some New Age stuff, like getting in touch with our inner Christ and becoming Christ. It's what we're supposed to be doing. He told us that.
We're not allowed to disagree with each other.
Well, sure we are. That's what makes it fun. It'd be boring if we're sitting here agreeing with everything.
I'm kidding.
But no, again, it's just different terms. But to me, that's the little difference, the little twist that was put on the New Age movement is that we can be one with the Creator. That's where I differ. We can never be one with the Creator, but we can be one with the Christ, which is what we're supposed to be, because that was his exact prayer for us before he left this earth, was that we would be one with him just as he is one with the Father. We would all be one, meaning we would all have this same spirit, because that's what made him one with the Father, that spirit that he had once he came to earth. Now, of course, he was the Word of God, so he was always with the Father in there. But when he became flesh, the spirit came down and reconnected that flesh with the Father. And it's the same spirit that he gives to us.
He raised,
right.
See, I feel he raised his vibration high enough to where the spirit could come down and meet. To me, it's just terms, and it's a little bit, you know what? We don't know.
No.
But,
that's the belief. That's where faith comes in. We don't know. So you have to choose your path and have faith in it, basically. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Is believing what you're going to believe.
And we have to have faith. And we have to have this faith.
But
we really don't know who we are.
No, we've lost sight of
especially
it.
with all this simulation talk going on and program. We really don't know who we are, no matter which theory you take, whichever one's right, whichever hypothesis is closest to the truth. I mean, even that. I mean, I with amnesia. How come I don't know where I came from and who I am? I mean, I go into my heart and I'm feeling like, okay, I know what I got to do. Basically, now it's to accept and observe and teach. I was telling somebody this afternoon. I was scared. I've reached more people physically about the Mandela effect than I have on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
I've done 180. It's like I realize it's us. We're just talking to each other, and every once in a while, somebody comes into the fold, and they get into it, and maybe they start doing videos. I think everybody should be doing videos. Everybody should be doing live shows. New people get into it, and they come on and they see these shows, and that's great. But for the most part, we're talking to ourselves, telling each other, "Hey, new Mandela effect. Oh, okay, cool." 3 other people do a video, and I mean, slow as the people come in, the more I guess I'm lucky that I work in customer service industry, and I have a chance to talk to people because it, you know, it, I'm spreading the word. Even if they look at me like deer in the headlights, I'm getting the word out there. And we're supposed to be doing videos. That helps. You're absolutely, that's doing it. That's, to me, we're witnesses, and we're supposed to get the word out, and that's what we're doing. How else can we do it other than YouTube?
I mean, it does give us the opportunity to reach all around the world, which I think's awesome, to spread whatever message we personally want to spread. The only other thing I wanted to bring up, I just remembered when you said about, trying to figure out what you want. What do I want? You don't know what you want. See, that's, again, now in my opinion, to me, that's part of the problem. That's tying it right back to the flesh, what we want. Anytime we think about what we want, it's fleshly. We got to rise above that and start thinking about whatever you want to call him, the creator, the great spirit, the father, as I call him, whatever you want to call him. His will is what we need to be thinking of. That's the main thing. As long as we're thinking of what we want, what our will is, we're never going to accomplish anything worthwhile because it's tied to the flesh. We need to rise above and think about what he wants, what his will is. And the only way we can know that, again, is, in my opinion, through the spirit. Once we have it, we know what his will is. Now the only problem we got is whether we want to listen to it, no matter what it says.
I'm under the impression and understanding that any desires you have are God's desires. Now, when I first heard that, I didn't like that. I was like, that don't seem right. But there's no negative, there's no positive, there's no good, there's no evil. Because when you get to God the Father that far, the absolute of the absolute, there cannot be any good and evil. It's got to be both or neither be. And that's why that energy, to me, yes, and I would just term it differently. I agree with a lot of that, and the terminology changes in there, and I really think we got to get over that. It's like the Tower of Babel over here. Because a lot of what you're saying, I totally understand, and I agree with a lot of things. It's the terminology.
Right.
Sometimes it's my upbringing. I had to tear myself away from that stuff. I had to, for my own reasons.
Believe me, me too. I had to throw away everything I ever believed my whole life. One
of the things that really stuck with me is I'm not going to sit around and wait somebody to do it for me.
Right. We're not supposed to
You know,
be. That's the problem. That's the sleep most Christians are under, waiting on Jesus to come back. That is the biggest trick of the enemy ever. We're not supposed to be waiting on nothing. We're supposed to be doing. This is a battle. We ain't supposed to be sitting here waiting to be rescued. That's
Glad
a
you said
coward's
that.
way out, bluntly. I mean,
Doing.
it's a coward's way out. We're not cowards. We're not afraid of nothing. We're
I'm
here to
glad you said
battle.
that doing. That whole
What's that?
doing thing. That was, well, part of the things I was doing during that month of getting away from eating electronics and getting away from things is I was trying to do things. I felt like what's the next step? That was something I kept asking. What's the next step? We know either physical reality is changing or where our consciousness is shifting through timelines or on the whatever. Okay, what's the next step? Why are we here? What's going on? What's the plan here? I don't understand. Isn't that nice?
Well,
Um,
again, I don't know how well you can hear me. I'm out getting a cup of coffee at the moment. I got my wireless headset.
coffee. I would love coffee. You think you could talk to them for like 5 minutes?
Yeah, you want a cup? Here, have a cup. Oh, I'm sure I can
Take too
spout
long
for 5 minutes. What was I
I'd
going to
have
say?
to go all the way down to the bar.
What did you just say as I was out there? I was about to answer something. I lost it. It's getting coffee.
Was it something about coffee?
No, that's what threw me off. I was about to have a good spiel, too. I see the kitty. Yeah, if I could remember what I was about to talk about, I could keep him busy for a few minutes. But now I lost it.
What are you saying now?
Hey, Rabbit got you some coffee. He's a good rabbit. Hey, I'll do a shout out. That'll take a few minutes. We ain't even shouted out this lovely room.
Where we got 2 people
Oh,
in
no.
there? Because I can't see.
Now we got probably 7 or 8 here.
As soon as I put that camera up there and I go ahead and look at the chat, we both start breaking up and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna run. You know what? I'm gonna run down. Get it. It'll take me 3 minutes. I'm not gonna get coffee. Unless it's made.
I'll keep them entertained. I'll do a shout out and then keep them entertained somehow. But yeah, we got Awakened Saint in the room. Belinda Brubaker, Candy Cupcakes, Dark Wolf's Den, Cowboy in the house. Doing good, I hope, still, brother. Proud of you. Dark Wolf's Den, Fizzy Pop, Michelle's Opinions, Wake Up News, and that little furry buddy of mine, Wesley Rabbit. All right, let me get back to the chat now so I can see what people are saying. I was talking about battle. I was going to talk about battle, but I lost it. It's gone now. It'll come back maybe. What else we got going on? Shout out. Sing to us. Oh, you don't want me singing to you, Melinda. That'd be a way to end the show real quick. 19 days and counting. Woo-hoo! You go, brother. Kill that flesh. That's what I'm talking about. It's the only way. Dan, he ran away. Yeah. Didn't see him in there. He ran away. He's hiding. How's it going, Dirk Wolfstein? Dead air, dead air. Someone give me a subject. Throw something out there. Give me a question. What do you got? Help a brother out, yo. Oh, yeah, he's probably lurking. He likes to lurk. Spirit will reveal all in God's timing. Absolutely wake up. That's the problem, though, because sometimes, oh, yeah, now he wants to pop in. As soon as I get rolling, he wants to pop in and talk. See? Oh, getting water. He's rubbing in that watermelon again. Yes, actually, we are going live soon. I will shamelessly plug that. Thank you, Belinda. Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, if everything goes as planned. we will do our first Bible study on John chapter 1. So read up, get your questions ready. We'll do a Bible study and a prayer call at the new channel, Warriors Call.
All right, I'm back. You keeping them busy?
Well, yeah, I was faking it as well as I could. A little bit of dead air time, but not too much.
So what's the temperature where everybody's at? I can't see the chat, so you're going to have to let me know what they say.
It's killer hot here. It's been insane in Pennsylvania already. It ain't even August, and it's been...
I'm at 49, and I'm freezing.
Jeez. Yeah, it's 1:30 in the morning, and I'll bet you it's still 80 degrees out. See it?
It's nice. I'd go sleep in the hammock out there if that was the case here.
99 at midnight for Scarab, said.
It's in chat.
I love her too. Yes, I love everyone. I love everyone. I don't necessarily love all their spirits. That's a little thing we have to learn. 84 today for Dark Wolf, 69 now. 90 in his room. Well, you're supposed to be in a den. They're supposed to be regulated to about 50 degrees. What are you doing? 90-degree cave. I think you must have he's in a cave in a volcano. That's never good. Gonna have to move, Dark Wolf. It's not good.
So what do you think?
What's that?
What do you think of the cat cam? See, they left the porch. Oh well.
I see his tail still. Oh, there he goes. He's faded into the night. 74 for Belinda. She's got the air on. Howdy, Mandela Health and stuff. She says howdy to both of us. 78 for Cowboy. Crazy lava flows, Dark Wolf said. Hey, makes it easy to toast marshmallows and hot dogs. You could do a s'more anytime. That wouldn't be all bad. Oh, yes. Well, now what do we want to talk about?
I don't know. I got this. I did that. This little list here.
We could talk about your book. I love your book. I'm about halfway through it. It's quite a good read. I'm reading it slowly so I can digest it. And I really appreciate the little shout out in the front. Father's love.
How is the read? How does it flow? Does it? I know I'm probably a unique author.
Yeah, no, I love reading. I mean, so it ain't like I don't read. I love reading. I've always been a reader. I've read my whole life. I got all kinds of books. So I read a lot. And yeah, it's a good read. It flows. It's decent. Like I said, I'm just taking it nice and slow because I like to digest it. But yeah, it's a good read.
Yeah, basically, it's just little short stories of all the experiences I had. And I say all, but I've missed a couple. When I finally read this thing to enjoy it rather than edit it, I started remembering all kinds of things that I didn't get in there. And maybe 3 or 4 decent stories. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just start the second book out that way. And, then it turned into like a blog. Because when I was writing, it was when I was getting rid of all these things. Abstaining and trying to get back what was going on when I had the experience with the stars. And this coffee went right to my head.
Yeah, that's the way with me. A lot of times I wished I'd have wrote something down or recorded something because I'll try to think of it the next day and it's like gone. You just can't really get it back sometimes. Belinda said to Suso's brother Mike said I get a free copy. She's still waiting. LOL.
Brother told when?
I don't know. She didn't say when, but obviously she's been talking to Mike and he told her.
Okay, I'll get the money off my brother. Just
hit Mike
email
up.
Me your address,
Email him your address, Belinda. He'll hit his brother up. Hey,
Yeah,
Professor 3 popped in.
I
Howdy,
started writing the second book, thinking, wait a minute, the first book is experiences. These were things that happened to me that, and the Mandela effect was all through it. And I'm writing the second one. It just turned into like a blog about what I was doing, my the things I'm learning to do, how to create, if I'm actually creating, if I'm actually failing, and or kind of like creating the negative things is what I mean. Sitting here dwelling on something constantly, and it happens. Why am I doing that? But that's what the second book really turned into that, and I'm thinking, I'm real close to just, I don't know. I'm thinking about revising it. I don't know if I want to get into that. I'm enjoying writing what I'm doing, but unless I have some other experiences, it's not going to be anything like the first book. The first book to me tells a story. It's about the experiences. And one of the things I was learning, so it could be good, but one of the things I learned was, and I said it before, to kind of accept. And it's more than just accepting and letting go. It's accepting what's around you. And things just pan out every time. When I'd fight and fight and fight. As soon as I accepted it, because I had nowhere else to go or do, it was like I just accepted the situation. It went away. To me, writing the second book that's what it's going to be. It'll be a new age book. It'll be, hey, this is how you create. Well, I don't know. I'm still figured it out. I still haven't been able to do what I figured out because that's where I'm at. Like, oh, damn, I did it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's why it didn't work.
Hey, there's the kitty.
But the funny thing is, with the first book, two stories. One story I definitely wrote, and I wrote it in a book. I remember editing it. I remember wording it. I was very specific about the words because it was about my brother, and I knew he'd be reading it. And I just, it was a dream. In the dream, like I stated in the book, I don't recall most of my dreams. When I dream, it's extremely vivid, and it's a lot more than a dream. I'm getting an echo in my ear, and I'm stuttering because of it. So this
is it like a lucid dream? Are you awake? You're dreaming?
They are, but I'm not. That only happened once where I was in control, and that's another thing. I remember writing for you. I don't know if that's in the book or not. It happened once in Michigan. I'll write that down here. I remember writing that. I don't know if it's in there, but the story about my brother definitely isn't in there. And I know I wrote about it. I know that was in the final copy, but it's not. So, was it a page that's missing? Did somebody miss something? I don't know. I'm not going to claim it's a Mandela effect. And I shifted into a timeline where I just didn't write about that story.
Yeah, that's very strange. I heard you talk about that before. And yeah, that's pretty wild. You remember writing the chapter, writing everything, sending it to them, yet it ain't there. That's
and they got the final draft. And granted, I have 6 copies that I haven't gone through, and I am going to because I know I wrote it. And to me, it was definitely in the final one. There's no way it couldn't have been, but who knows?
Belinda said that was on Scarab Show when your brother was on Scarab Show, or well, he was in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
That's when he
had to be
picked her for the book, I guess. And no wonder I forgot because I never pay attention to Scarab Show, so that's why I didn't remember.
Yeah, what's her icon? Is her icon like her standing there like a cute little blonde? Because that my brother would probably gravitate towards
exactly. That's exactly what happened. Yes, I would say yes. Michelle's opinion said it's an excellent book and well worth the money. Actually, worth more than you're asking.
Well, I want to get the information out.
Yeah, exactly.
At first, I wanted to make my money back, and then somebody was like, "Oh, number one, we're going to make money," and I'm like, "Wow," And I miscalculated. I calculated on 100 books. That's because that's the books that I got. There were still 400 at the publishers, and now there's 300 actually.
Rascally Rabbit had a good comment there. He says, knowing we understand verses and believing we understand reminds me of the difference between wisdom and knowledge. And the knowledge lost its K, I notice. So there's a Mandela effect. But yeah, absolutely, Rabbit. Just messing with you, Rabbit. Oh, Cowboy says, huh? Scarab does shows? I'll sub you. Yeah, he does a couple things once or twice a week. If you have nothing else to do, it's definitely a way to kill some time. Oh, wait, the K's back. It must have hopped away for a minute. Uh-oh. Someone deleted Cowboy's message. Yeah, chat's yakking amongst themselves and laughing. Lizette said, where'd it go? I've seen something. And now I lost it. Let me find it. Oh, there it is. Accepting that we are the Mandela effect, we have changed body, mind, and spirit. Barbarian 757 says, here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty. Professor 3 wants to know if anyone else feels ME has evolved lately. I'm not sure what he means by evolved, but
ME has the Mandela effect evolved
lately, yes.
See, that's where I'm at. I'm like, well, what are we going to do? Chase Mandela effects for the next 5 years?
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you. Yep.
I mean, no matter who's right, no matter what just follow Jesus if we're supposed to learn how to create. And I'm using the two things we're talking about. What's going to make it happen?
Clarify, he says.
What's going to make it
It's
happen?
clearly not memory anymore, is what he means by that, he said. In other words, I guess it's right.
We're not misremembering things. Now, granted, there could be some things out there that people misremembered, and there could be some things that people made up. Because after a while, I stopped researching. I mean, somebody comes up with a Mandela effect. If it's a real big one, I'm sure I'd get into it. But something small, like, two letters connected to each other, I've seen a couple of those too, with Friskies. They were attached. And I looked up KI, and it means spirit. So I thought, okay, there's a message there.
Sovereign key, spirit. Lizette wants to know how to get a copy of your book. Maybe you ought to shout that out to the people, let them know where they can get it.
Yeah, this would be good. I've actually got my PayPal account going, and I misspoke on the video. I think I said 15. I got to do it for 20 with the shipping, and then a personal book to you. If I get that money and your name and a mailing address, I can get that out to you personally. If not, you can go to the publisher, which would be the cheapest. Well, no, it wouldn't. Get the paperback. I believe it's $14 including shipping.
Is it printshopcentral.com?
That's it.
Because Scarab just put that link in there for you. Yep.
Chat now, and Scarab Performance hooked it up right there.
Yep, good job.
So yeah, you click on that, and I believe the book is right. Of course, my internet's so slow.
I knew you gave him a wrench for a reason.
It's $8.50. It's $8.50 plus shipping, which comes to $14, I believe. If you go to Amazon, the paperback off of Amazon because the printing was all messed up. I'm trying to get a hold of these people to fix it, and they're telling me I got to
I think it may be done the way it is. I'm trying to upload, adding. Somebody said something about not doing Windows or not Windows. Anyway, the thing on the Word. You should use Abode or something.
Oh, Adobe or something, probably. Adobe's a big one.
Adobe, yeah, that's the one. I'm looking into that, and I think that might help. But the printing was off. It was like the table of contents was on 2 pages, and Photo Helix's pictures would be like by themselves, and then the chapter would come in. I wasn't happy with it, and I think I sold 2 books online, 2 paperbacks through Amazon.
You also have it on eBay, correct? That'd be the best way to get a signed copy,
I
probably.
put it on eBay. I told them I'd sign it and the whole bit, and that didn't sell. And that was, I think I worked it out to where it would be 14 or the same as the other site. And I put it on there. I figure even if people just look at it, that'll be enough.
It's definitely worth the money, and it's worth the read. I'll guarantee you that. I mean, especially if you're in this community. It's definitely a good read. Like I said, I'm halfway through. Well, I told Suso earlier, I'm actually on chapter The Forward Shift. I'm at page 102 of 172. So a little over halfway, and I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, I really am. I ain't just saying that because I'm on Suso's show, because as you see, we disagree on some things. So I'm just buttering him up.
Well, I mean, you're halfway through, and I got to tell you, I didn't go towards the religious aspect of it. If I brought it up, it was vaguely, and it's in the last, I'm going to say one of the last 3 chapters, probably the last one.
I don't know what Dan's doing in the chat, but he just said to learn more about Satan, click this link. I ain't clicking it. Because it's probably my channel. Belinda said it is my channel. Or no, yeah, Belinda said. Yeah.
My channel, I will fly to Texas, wherever he lives. Oh, he went right to, yeah, it goes right to your channel.
Does it?
Okay, he can do
does
that.
It really? Now I got to click.
I control you. I'm okay with that.
Oh, yeah.
Did I just, it's funny.
Oh, see? Oh, now I messed my pop-up chat all up. Messing with Dan. See? Why they even pay attention to that crazy fella? I need my pop-out chat back. Give me back my pop-out chat.
I think what we got to do, we have to come to terms with, hey, you know what? Just, okay, like the little episode I had. I was all set. I couldn't.
1 second, real quick. I got a question for you from Michelle's opinions before we get into that. She wants to know if you're still planning on going to UBOTF. You know what she's saying?
Feds, that's who that is. Am I still planning on going on his show?
On
Yeah.
UBOTF?
About that. Think we did a quick email. It's just hard for me to plan something. I believe we're doing something. God, I hope it wasn't today.
Oh, okay. Unbiased and on the fence. UBOTF.
Damn it!
All right,
no.
sorry.
Now you know what? Me and Shane were emailing back and forth, and we set. I believe we said we're going to do it in the afternoon one day, and I'm trying to remember if we just let it tentative, or if I picked a day. Oh God, I hope to God it wasn't today.
No, she ain't saying it like you missed it or anything, I don't think. So that's cool. But I didn't mean to interrupt your chain of thought there. What was you going to say?
Oh, you want me to remember now?
Yeah, I know.
I was thinking about when I was on Michelle Opinion show something came up. I can't remember that.
I know. I'm the same way.
Yeah, our
It was the
memories
same old
blow.
age, little senility.
Oh my God. Ed, I can't come on here and start forgetting things that quick. That's no good.
Oh, it's entertaining for the crowd. Watch a bunch
Entertaining was that video I did with all the interviews at the bar. I
that
enjoyed
was good.
that.
That was. I liked your last one too. You just put up the one you just put out. That was a good one too. I liked that one. Yeah, that one in the bar with all the interviews. That was funny. Some of them reactions.
Most of the people I'm reaching are, people that know about this. And that's fine. If something comes up where we figure out the next step. But see, I got to stop saying that because I really don't think there is a next step. If there's a next step, it's to accept it. And that's what I was going to get into when you interrupted my train of thought. Don't do it again. Situation where I kept fighting it. And it got where I didn't care. And it's not true because there were things I cared about. But because of the situation, I just said, you know what? I don't care anymore. Whatever happens, happens. Whatever you guys want to do, you're going to do. And that's it. I just don't care anymore. And as soon as that happened, the situation looked as though it was completely going away. Then interacted. And the situation came back. And I was like, what's going on? And I realized, I was walking around and I'm feeling guilty about interacting because I didn't. And I got involved and it was back. And then and then a situation exploded a little bit. And I said, you know what? I am done. This is it. I don't care. And, the situation not only left, got arrested. I mean, that's the whole thing was done. And I think that's what we may have to do with the Mandela effect. Get to a point where we just don't care. Just like, whatever. Okay,
Yeah, I
big
agree.
whoop.
That's the way.
United States flag. The stars on the flag have always been green. And okay, yeah, whatever. And we're just not going to care anymore because what else can we do about it? What can we do about it? That's why I got into hey, let me see if I can create. Well, I've set myself up pretty nice, I feel. It's not for everybody, I have a porch with a hammock on it, and rocks there. And those things sticking up, they're electrical wires that are actually far away. Far away.
Yeah, it made me jealous with that porch with the hammock. I could just swing there and relax.
Tell you, man.
It's nice.
I get up in that and I'm just looking at the stars. And see, a lot of times I wonder if I should even talk about this. Was one thing, but 2 nights ago, I had a star get real big and disappear. I wasn't even in the hammock. I was sitting off the side, just looking up, and it got real big and disappeared.
And see, I have no problem with what you say about the stars because I'm a firm believer that the stars are all. I hate to use the word angels because that gets associated with so many weird things, but basically, yeah, they're all living spiritual beings that are doing what they're told to do, and that's basically covered in Enoch. So yeah, I believe
what they're told to do.
Well, not necessarily what they're told to do, but they do their job the way it was planned.
Are they okay? Is their job?
Well, their job is
to make it look. Is their job to make it look like we live in a vast universe?
Well, it don't really say what their job is, basically, other than to be for signs and to keep the patterns and travel through the heavens on their set courses, and that's what they do.
Had the experience with the stars that you read about already, correct?
Yeah, yep, I've read the story. Plus,
Okay.
I've heard it. Yeah, I've read it already also.
That they came at me the way they came at me, the way I explained it. I mean, how does somebody interpret that? I mean, I could sit here and tell you about it, and then you could say, "Oh, how would I have interpreted that?" I mean, to me, because of what I was studying at the time, I think it had a lot to do with it. Where was my focus? My focus was on, hey, if the Earth is flat, what's with the stars, the moon, and the sun? Questions, and they were being answered like crazy, in really weird ways. Okay, so what's with the sun and the moon and the stars? These things came at me. I mean, they were in our atmosphere. It was a complete line that didn't detach, or it wasn't like a star, and then it was just a star in front of me. This thing was like a rubber band. It like stretched all the way to me and then stretched all the way back. So two things. And the first thing that came to mind was they're intelligent beings.
Yeah.
They are not suns with planets revolving around them. That answered my question as far as outer space and what's going on. That didn't answer my question, but to me, it pushed me in another direction. And are they in the firmament? Is there a firmament? Whatever. I tend to think that they are on the other side of some kind of, probably water. Water's above, water's below. And I think I feel there is some sort of outer space. There's something on the other side of the dome, if I could call it that. If it's even there, if it's a barrier, whatever it is, there's something on the other side of physical reality. That's what I'll call that. The edge of the end of physical reality would be the dome. I think that the higher you go, the denser it gets, and the more liquid form it turns into to a point where you can't break through it. But with that, they showed me they were intelligent beings. But the second thing that came to mind, well, maybe they're being controlled by an intelligent being. Not that they weren't intelligent, but that they're being controlled by an intelligent being. I still
think you're true
tend
on
to
both
think that
counts.
and that what they're being controlled to me would be as the absolute of the absolute, or possibly no. I would have to say those stars are being told or controlled or whatever, if there's another being back there, that it is the creator of physical reality. But I don't think the creator of physical reality is God or the absolute of the absolute. And that, I think God was energy, and these things started to create. And I'm under the impression that physical reality was a myth, couldn't be done, and was an accident. And many of us were tricked into coming here. Some of us were forced. Some of us chose to. Check out. We're tricked because it's a circle, it's a trap. If it is, I mean, but when you really get down to it, ourselves to come here and experience physical reality. If we've already experienced everything there is to experience, then this is just part of it. But I tend to think that we're growing. I tend to think that we're all spirits growing, and we're not going back. To me, you don't go back. You're in fifth grade. You don't go back to first. We're. I think it's a progression. I don't want to say not go back to God, because eventually I think it's going to become something like that, and that could be the perfect terminology. But I don't think there's any going. I think when we learn from this, we're growing and learning from them. Personally, I'm learning that can create or I can't create. That's what I'm learning now. You know, I tend to think that I'm creating. Is something just making me think that? Yeah, I don't know. If that's the case, that's okay. You know, I mean, if experience physical reality.
Yeah, I agree with the fact.
Did you write that you don't agree with and agree with?
Yeah,
That's
well, I
a
do agree
long
with the fact
conversation.
that we're sort of, how do I want to put it? We're basically sort of hijacked. That this, when we read in Genesis about him giving them
Oh, you're breaking
flesh
up.
to wear, that's when I think we were given this skin. I think that's when we were trapped in this, if you want to call it reality, this physical reality. I think it was hijacked. I think it was messed with. I think the original creation was messed with, which put us here. Now, as far as trapped here or volunteering to come here, I don't know. Highly possible. I don't know. I haven't researched that enough to have an opinion one way or the other, because first of all, I know anything's possible with the Father. So, but I do believe we were hijacked. I think that's where the Hopi prophecies come in. I think that's where the Enlil and Enki come in. I think that's where a lot of the old writings come in. The Anunnaki, all that plays into the fact that we were hijacked and created by something other than the original creator. But the original creator, I also believe, is still in us. That's the spirit. That's that spark. That's why we need to reconnect to him, because we got hijacked. And that's what I believe what most people call Jesus came to do. When I said he reconnected us to the Father, that's exactly it. We've been hijacked. He came to unhijack us, to give us a way back to where we had originally were supposed to be, which a lot of people call the Garden of Eden, but that isn't really a physical realm like we're sort of taught to believe. It isn't really a garden and stuff. And the trees weren't really trees, but we won't get all deep into that. But yeah, I definitely agree we were hijacked, and
We'd have to wait for photo into that.
yeah. But yeah, basically, I do agree with that part. Again, with creating, if I mean, like I said, that sort of falls into the we feed energy one side of the. I mean, I pray constantly for things like the darkness to be uncovered with what happens to the children. And I've been praying that for a long time, and I always ask people to pray for it on my videos, and I constantly mention it. And I've seen results from that. I see more and more of this pedophilia crap coming to light. I mean, I see results. So if that's creating, it falls back into line with I could only do that because that's also what the Father would want done in my eyes. Again, now this is my opinion. As long because I'm sure the Father wants to save all these children. But again, we have a part to do. If we do our part, we can, what you might be calling, again, it's just different terms, create a better world for ourselves. But not because we're really creating it, just because we're aligning it back to the Father's will in my eyes. But it looks like we're
All
creating.
right, listen. Ronnie, listen.
Yeah.
This, but I'm being pushed to. The pedophilia and the way you're reacting to it and your feelings towards it. To put it in your terms, that's the flesh. I don't mean what's going on there. I mean what you're doing to yourself.
Well, there is no more. No. See, there is no more. I mean, I don't grieve over it anymore. I went through that process, but then I got
these children. I get it. Believe me, I'd be the first one out there. Okay. And I forgive me for saying if it's really happening. But you know, if all that you touch, all that you see, all that you feel, all that you hear. I mean, I'm hearing it through other people. And to me, it just spreads fear. I'm not saying it's not happening, but this fear and the uptightness and the upsetness and these poor children. That, yeah, I'm with you on that, but it's just creating that negativity, and that energy is going, and it's just empowering them.
Right. That's why you got to do it the
That's how
right
I
way.
say it. I'm sorry.
I said, exactly. That's why it has to be done the right way. That's why there is no fear.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So, and that's why I don't talk a lot about what I've seen happens. You know, I'm not telling anything what happens to the children, because that could spread a lot of darkness and fear. The point is, I'm trying to say we need to love the people that's doing it enough. That's what I do, is I pray for them to come to the light, to realize what they're doing and stop it and save these children. But there's no fear involved on my end. There's no bad feeling. There's no, I don't feed that negative side, because I understand what you're saying. And yes, it's possible. But that's the point of taking our thoughts captive. That's the point of doing it correctly. You don't pray against them, you pray for them. That's you feed the good side, in other words, to me. And this is just how I look at it. And like I said, I've seen results. Not because I've done it, but because a lot of people are doing it. A lot of people are waking up to this and praying against it in their own ways and doing what they need to do. But it's definitely coming to light. And that's sort of what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be seeing the evil in the world and praying for it. We're supposed to be praying for our enemies, not against our enemies. That feeds the negative energy. If I was to go in praying for the children and say, I hope those dudes get busted, and roll in and shut them down and take them out, and these people need to burn in hell forever, that's the wrong way to pray. No, I pray, please, Father, show them the light. Let them open the cages and let these children out. Let them come up the stairs bawling their eyes out, carrying these people they've had captive. That's what I pray for, not for bad things to happen to them, for good things to happen to them. That's the idea. That's feeding the good energy, in my opinion.
I like that.
And that's why I say, I've said before about, you know, a lot of people pray wrong. That's what I mean. A lot of people pray for something to happen sort of negative to whatever they're praying, you know, but that isn't how you do it. Jesus told us to pray for our enemies, not against them, for them to come to the light, not against our enemies, because the flesh isn't the enemy anyway. There's no person out there, even people who make videos about me. I love those people. I understand why they're doing it. It isn't their fault, you know. It's their fault that they don't want to listen to the truth and they're being led by a bad spirit, but still, it's the spirit behind them that's doing it. It isn't them. So I pray for them. I don't make rebuttal videos and dog them. What's that?
With the terminology you're using, would you say that we've been trapped here, and when we're trying to be freed?
I lost you there. You said, would I say what?
Do you think we've been trapped here in physical reality and we need to be freed?
Basically, yeah. I mean, in layman's term, yes. We've been taken captive. That's the whole point of Jesus having to pay a ransom. You don't pay a ransom to the good guy. You pay a ransom to the bad guy. You pay a ransom when something's been kidnapped and you want to get it back. That's what a ransom's for. So yes, we were kidnapped. We were hijacked. We were whatever you want to call it.
Free. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to.
Right. We are supposed to, in my opinion, reconnect to the spirit and the creator, the Father, the great spirit, whatever you want to call him. Our job here is to reconnect with him, understand what we're supposed to be doing, because we've been tricked and lied to our whole lives. We've been indoctrinated into religions and races and patriotism and all these division points. We've been indoctrinated into this, and we need to break free of this. Again, this is all flesh. We need to break free of it, reconnect with the Father, as I call him, through the spirit that he gives us, and be active. We need to fight the evil and the darkness that is trying to take over this world. Well, that runs the world, and I think that's what sort of the Bible changes are trying to wake people up to. When the lion laid with the lamb changed to the wolf dwelling with you, if that isn't a message to tell you, hey, there's a wolf here now, you better wake up because there's a wolf dwelling with you, you know? So we need to wake up and take care of the wolf. We ain't supposed to just sit here and act like everything's hunky dory and wait to be set free. We are set free. The minute we reconnect to the Father and get that spirit, we're set free. Now we have to do it. We have to live it. We have to act it. We have to use it.
The truth will set you free.
What's that?
The truth will set you. Who said the truth will set you free?
Exactly. Jesus, the truth will set you free. And who he sets free is free indeed. And you are. You're freed from all these trappings of the world. And it's not instant. Trust me. I still, I'm no saint. I still make mistakes. I still catch myself worrying about worldly stuff once in a while. But you've got power. When it's the devil's biggest lie is to make us think that we have no power to change anything he's doing in this world, but we are told we have the power to overcome everything he's doing in this world, yet we don't do it. Okay. We just sit back and wonder why it's so bad.
I've been saying. That's what I've been saying, sir.
Exactly. Just different terms.
I've been saying we can create. We can do this.
You call it creating, but I call it changing the outcome. But
it's just terminology.
Exactly. It's just terminology.
Same thing, different terminology.
Exactly. But that is what we need to be doing.
I can't get my head around some of your words. You can't get your head around some of mine. That's all.
Right. But it means nothing because we're shooting for the same goal. We both want to make this place better. I do it through the power of the Spirit. You're coming to figure out how to do it through the power of the Spirit. And you're, it's a journey.
Yeah, because one of my questions for a while, and I couldn't really, it was hard. I had to get rid of the idea that I had a spirit. I had to get rid of the idea of there's a God and all that, all religion and everything. I just got rid of it all. It took me a long time to do that. It wasn't easy. And then, slowly, gradually did it. And I realized, you know what? It's nicer to believe there's an old energy. I don't even know because I do feel there's definitely something more.
Oh, you broke
world out there. What's that?
You broke up right after you said you feel there's something more, and you cut out.
Great. I feel there's something there's something more that knows more than I do, for sure. I mean, what's going on with the stars? There's something going on there. That was a message to me.
Yes.
That was one of the things that I got from that. It was a message to me. And what I did. And for the past, since 2015, since that happened, August 8th, 2015, I look at the stars a lot. And every once in a while I get a blip or I get a little, just a wink or something. I mean, and it's whatever it is. It's not normal. Sometimes I don't even think it was a star. That kind of flipped me out a couple of times. I'm like, what is that? Big white light just flashing, just sitting there. I'm like, okay. That's happened a few times, but nothing like August 8th, 15. That was my answers. I don't know what it was. I was in the zone. I was just feeling it, the truth for me, it hit me there. It wasn't that the Berenstain Bears changed to the Berenstain Bears and that I ever heard of them. 2012 is the earliest I can even contemplate or think about these bears coming around. Sex in the City, Interview with a Vampire. It was, I don't know. Where was I going with all this? Got to stop
I'm not sure, but
me
you're
from
doing good.
doing that. That'll happen. That's why all of a sudden I felt like I was writing.
Yeah, writer's block. Yeah,
A bad thing.
yeah,
I'll sit
absolutely. I mean,
downstairs.
like I said, we agree on, and you know, and that's exactly true. The Father, see, a lot of people forget the Father will meet you wherever you're at, and He met you where you was, and He always, it's a personal relationship. So of course it was a personal message for you, and He met you where you are, and He always meets us where we are. It don't matter where we are. See, that's one of the lies of the church is fix yourself up and then come to Jesus. Well, that's, you ain't got time for that. You get to Jesus. He'll fix you
Okay,
up.
turn.
He'll fix you up later. That's a progress. That's going to take the rest of your life to get fixed up. You don't, there is no unworthy. That's one of the biggest lies. You come as you are. He loves you as you are, and He's going to use you as you are. No matter what you're believing or thinking at the time, He can use you the way you need to be used if you just come to Him. He'll fix you up. That's what we were talking about. I ain't sure if we was live yet or not about, in my case, you know, the Spirit works on one thing at a time. You don't have to clean everything up. You know, you come to Jesus, now all of a sudden you need to do a 180 and change everything because that's going to overwhelm you and it's never going to work. And He don't expect that. He expects you to come and keep. The Spirit's going to tell you what you need to work on. For me, it was jealousy at first. That was my biggest problem. We worked on jealousy. Jealousy's gone. It's gone now. I used to be very jealous. Now it's gone. I don't know how to explain it, but it's gone. It's totally gone. Now we're working on anger because I had a big anger problem. So working on anger. But I didn't come into it and said, oh man, now I got to get rid of this jealousy and anger and cigarette smoking and swearing and I got to get rid of all this stuff or I'm never going to be good enough. No. That's a lie of the enemy. You come, you get connected. The Spirit will walk it out with you, tell you what to work on. Don't believe man. Man's going to tell you all kind of things are sin. And they're not. The Spirit will tell you what's sin. It'll convict you. And when it convicts you, that's what you work on. You don't worry about all the other things the enemy's trying to tell you still wrong with you. Of course there's still stuff wrong with you. That's the enemy, though, whispering in your ear, telling you ain't good enough. It's lies. As long as you're working on what the Spirit's convicted you of, you're on the right track, and everything will be all right. Don't worry about getting fixed up right away.
The thing, I'm going to break it down and get away from spirit or creating. I want to go back. If we're on a track and we're trying to break out, Jesus, Yeshua, whoever, Buddha, Muhammad, all the other dying gods, they were trying, whoever or whichever one you find really matter if you break out. I mean, it's in your opinion, and we're supposed to get away from the flesh. We're supposed to get away from physical reality.
Right. Absolutely.
Is that right? Or
absolutely. I mean, the flesh is our biggest enemy. Absolutely. We've got to die, as Jesus put it. We literally
I've been dying daily.
Well, then again, that's what I mean. I know you're on the right track. We're using different terms, but you're good, brother. You know, you're striving for the truth and you're learning.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's what I'm doing. But to me, I would term it as my consciousness shifted into another timeline where this is the way things are. That to myself, I say it out loud. I'll be walking down the street and go, you know what? I'm shifting myself into a timeline where whatever. And, you know, does it happen that second? Does it happen in a few days? Things have been working out that way for me when I'm focusing on it. And that, you know, watch out for the agitation because I never think about it when it's going on.
Right. Yep. And that's the enemy's trick. He's always going to try to get you to the wrong state of mind. Always. Especially when you're trying to get to the right state of mind. He's constantly going to, like right now, I said I'm working on anger. And of course, that stemmed with road rage because I was a driver my whole life. So yeah, I'd be the dude flipping you off or cursing or, you know, and it's fading now. I see it all fading. not through anything I'm doing, because if I could have done something about it, I wouldn't have been doing it for 40 years. You know what I mean? But it fades. It's what we work on. But I've also noticed the minute you start working on it is the minute cars will start pulling out in front of you. The enemy's always trying to trigger that hot button that he knows you're working on that. Always. It never stops. That's what we have to overcome. That's why we take the thoughts captive. Now, instead of as soon as a car pulls out and flipping them off, I just wave at them and smile. That's all through the power of the spirit. Believe me, my flesh is still saying, what the heck? My flesh is still flipping them off. I'm still working on that, which is a sin too. You know what I mean? But I've got it down to where I'm not physically doing it. I'm working on it. That's what I mean. It's a constant journey. So
constant journey. And
constant
now
journey.
I'm under the impression, okay, we're supposed to be breaking out.
Yes, absolutely. This is a prison, no
Not
doubt.
supposed to be physical. And we have, and what, for me, what solidifies that is the amnesia. You know, that we don't know who we are really. I mean, we have hints, and we'll have out-of-body experiences and lucid dreams. So we know there's a spirit. I know there's something more because I've had out-of-body experiences. One of the reasons why it was really hard for me to act like there wasn't.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I really felt like I had to
I've
get
asked to
into
reproduce
that.
also. So, yeah, it's real. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's something going on there for sure.
So yeah, that's
You know,
what I mean. We all realize there's something greater than us. I mean, at least most reasonable people realize there's something greater than us. It's just a matter of what we're going to believe it is. Are we going to believe the lies of religions, and I mean all of them, or are we going to believe what Jesus taught us? Because that's the truth. He's the one that came.
What did it take?
Truth.
What did it take to trap us here? What did it take to get us here? Okay,
Well,
if we're spirit,
that gets really
I'm
deep.
just trying to break it down so we can figure it out.
Well, it depends on what old teaching you want to go with. I mean,
what did it take to trap us?
It basically what I think happened
So
when Genesis 1, when that creation happened, is separate from when Genesis 2 creation happened. I really believe that. It took me a while to get there. And I don't like to talk about a lot of this because I'm still researching all this myself. I haven't quite got it all figured out. So I don't really want to say one way or the other. But I definitely know we were hijacked. And again, now it's according to who you want to listen to. Is it Enki and Enlil? Yes, that's true in that culture. They are the ones that hijacked us. Is it the red and blue Kachino and the Hopi prophecies? Yes, that's true also in that culture. Is it the Anunnaki and the Draconians? Yes, that's true in that culture. Do you see what I'm saying? So I can't tell you who did it because they have many names, but they did it. And that's the point of the Father through the Son, through the voluntary actions of the Son, redeeming us because we got hijacked from him. What name to tell you, I don't know. We call him Lucifer. We call him the devil. We call him Satan. They called him Enki and Enlil. They called him the red and blue Kachino. They called him the Anunnaki and the Draconians. They're all true. All these old gods that we read about, the Egyptian gods and the Greek gods and the Roman gods, and all these gods, in my opinion, were true. They are all the fallen that came down here and set themselves up as gods. And the main one set themselves up as the main God that Christians tend to follow. And I know people's going to get angry at me now, but it's time the truth got out there. All these fake religious gods, all of them, were set up by the enemy. And they're all real. They're all entities. But they're all fake. That's why Jesus came back to show us the real one, which he called Father.
That's what's going to get you mad at me. How do you know you have the right God? I mean, I'm sorry.
Because I have to believe.
What's the difference if somebody else follows somebody else and they break out?
Well, that's what I said earlier.
This opportunity to introduce and I want to ask him, were we trapped in here? Did you
Hey, man.
come
I do, Dan.
here and be yourself. Were you
What?
imprisoned here?
Oh, what?
Wait,
I
wait.
hear it choppy. Yeah.
Lizette said I need some magic mushrooms. I've done them before. You don't need them. That's a fake spirit. When you use magic mushrooms or drugs, that's you ain't connecting to the right spirit. I'll guarantee you that. I've done it. So we can talk about that all you want, but you ain't gonna pull no wool over this old man's eyes. I played that game. I've done all that.
Mushrooms.
That's fake. Yeah, you'll return a new man, all right. The wrong one. Guaranteed. I know. I served that fella. I know all about that fella. And I know it works. But it ain't the right path. And I know that.
Let me make it clear. I'm in communication with something. Okay. And you're right, K Smalls. It's a knowing. Okay. And that's everything we're doing, and everything I'm trying to create is a knowing. You know, and I'm just playing devil's advocate because I know what Armor Up wants to talk about. So I've been fighting off telling people what it doesn't matter. It's just going to be different terminology.
Right. Exactly. That's why I can sit here and talk to you. I'm not, I ain't telling you you're wrong. If I once said you're wrong, I just say I disagree with this or I do. But I haven't told you you're wrong. I don't know if you're wrong. I don't know if I'm right. That's the point of the faith. I have to believe I'm right. I'm dedicating my belief.
But I'm curious.
What's that? You break up again.
Yeah.
I was asking, trapping up again.
Yeah.
Are we trying to break out?
Yeah, I think for a long time, I think I know your question. Like, well, you were asking, what do you think as far as this being a trap? And there's a lot of talk about. I'm sorry.
Go, Danny.
Hey, man. I just hear you coming in and out. I just didn't want to talk over you, brother.
Okay.
All right. So you were asking about this thing being a trap, right? About like is it like are we trapped here, or were we trapped here, or was this something that there's been a lot of talk about that. Some people talk about the moon matrix and the soul trap and things like that somehow we get filtered back through here, our consciousness, and that may be a situation that's a kind of as a newer idea that's been passed around in the last 20 years. And it's very interesting because it kind of makes you wonder, because a lot of us seem to have memories of a past life and things like that. A lot of studies have been done on this type of thing where, it's like people remember, being other people. And I don't know. That may be a certain situation with that. But, I would say that, there's a good possibility. I do believe that we are under some type of deception or control. I believe that there are things that are nefarious that do feed off our negative energy. And if that's the case, then, it's very possible that we could be, our souls, they've figured a way, if it weren't for Jesus, to trap our souls back through here again and reuse us again, using our energy, using the energy of our soul. And, it's a kind of it's a real jacked up, sort of idea. And a lot of people don't like to go that way. I liken it to movies such as Dark City, where, I think that the symbolism in that movie, man, is really, it's really out of the park, man. I mean, that is crazy stuff. And the fact that they're, talking about, I mean, it's about Mandela effect. It's about people, but it's more so about the individual. But they show how things are manipulated and how matter is manipulated at certain times at night. And these things come in and they actually move people around in different roles, things like that. And it's a very strange movie. But, you often wonder if there's not some truth in some of this stuff, if they're not telling you what's really going on here. I also say that a lot of it, I do believe, though, that there has been an effort, though, to create fear for the simple fact of control and of harvesting it off of us on a spiritual level. And I know that may sound a little weird to some people, but I think it makes more sense. You know, we're talking about what the Christians call is the demonic realm, but the early Gnostics called them the archons, and then the Muslims call them the jinn and things like that. So, you know, it's I kind of think that's, you know, we might be in some sort of trap. And if it weren't for Jesus dying on that cross, which is a representation of a cube, which is really interesting. Once again, the cube symbolism comes up, and Saturn and all that good stuff. You can get into all that jazz as well. But you know, if he hadn't come here to show us the way out and pay that price, you know, maybe none of us would get out of here. So I think that's you know, that's the thing, is like maybe we were trapped from getting back to the Father, and that's why Jesus had to come in.
I think it eventually would have happened. Huh?
Yeah. I just think, you know, I mean, like I said, we don't know for sure, but I'm just saying it's you know, when you see the world, and we know it's an imperfect world, we know that there are horrendous things that happen to children and all this stuff. We know about all the stuff with the pedophilia that was going on, you know, and all that stuff like that. You know, it really drives home that, you know, as beautiful as a world we want, we still have to like not forget that there are things out here that are, you know, still, you know, that will devour us if we're not careful. And I think that, you know, if you want to look away and just only focus on the good things, that's great. But you're still, you know, you should always be willing to fight the evil that's out there. And that's what I think, you know, this awakening, you know, what I call a huge awakening for many people with the Mandela effect. This is kind of breaking us free of the bondage that we once were under. And so I think that that's what I have to say about that.
Looking away. Well, I appreciate that, but I would relate that to turn. I don't know if that was Jesus.
I couldn't. Dang, I wish you weren't breaking up so bad. Are you on Wi-Fi, bro?
Man,
are you on the phone? How are you broadcasting this?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying the way I did before.
You're not at home, right?
No, I'm home.
Oh, you made it home?
I've moved. I've gotten rid of the internet, so I'm cutting it off. It's not really close enough to.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm just catching.
I'm not plugged into the Ethernet either.
Well, you got to be plugged.
There's no Ether.
Why aren't you plugged into the Ethernet?
Well, because I got rid of it. No.
Why would you get? Well, then how are you broadcasting if you have no internet? With tin cans and a wire? Because that's what it seems like.
Tin cans and a wire.
You know? Yeah. I'm kidding, people. It's a joke.
Hello to my guest, Scarab.
Would you like me to give a shout out to the guests?
You could give a shout out to Armor Up, sure.
Oh, well, Armor Up knows. Yeah, well, he knows. I mean, I don't have to say nothing.
Yeah, he already gave me a shout out.
I already get. Yeah, I told people, look, if you want to learn more about Satan, you go to God's Armor's channel. But I didn't mean like, you don't understand, to know your enemy. That's all I meant by that. Gosh, people.
I knew what you meant, brother.
You guys, everybody was like, oh my gosh.
I thought they loved you.
That was pretty good, though, right? That was good.
That was good.
Yeah. I'm pretty cheeky sometimes.
I knew I wasn't clicking that link.
Crack me up.
Because that wants me to lighten up.
Uh-huh.
He thinks I'm in a bad mood or something. I fight the enemy with joy all the time. But we're at war. I mean, so sometimes, yeah. I mean, when I hear lies being spread or something that could lead someone to the enemy, well, then I'm going to point it out. If that's not, you know, I ain't going to just smile and say, oh, it's okay. No, it's time to get over that. Yeah, we're supposed to be lightened up and love and all that happy stuff but not when there's talk going about that'll lead someone astray. Then it's time to get a little serious and say, hey, don't do that. I've done that. It don't work, you know, so. But I did it in a light mood. If you took it, if it sparked something in you, then perhaps it needed sparked. That's all I could say about that.
You know, it's weird about certain things that Zuso talks about. I find so interesting. because whatever no matter if I believe in God or follow Jesus or anything like that, nonetheless, I've experienced some strange things, that a lot of people talk about, and other sectors of our community, and like the orb thing. That's really strange to me because I always thought that was so silly. I'd hear people talking about orbs and stuff, and I'm like, orbs, okay, whatever. But and then one night I was watching a meteor shower, and I had an orb experience, man, and that was trippy. Man, these things were flying. Oh my gosh, that was wild, man. I ain't gonna, it's like one of those things that you experience that you really don't talk about because it's so sort of strange that you're just like, I don't really know how to, I don't know, it's like, did I really see what I saw almost, because it's fascinating to me. But I did experience a situation where there was orbs, and they were flying around me. No, I don't know. I'm just saying. And it was only one night, and I went out there the next night, and I was trying to get some more orb action, but I couldn't get any. So anyway, just thought that was interesting.
It was the
I normally don't call it. We shouldn't really.
Yeah, I got a wild picture of this it's a big giant dead tree that's hollow in the middle. In fact, I got pictures of my one grandson and granddaughter in it. It's so big. But we was just out alone, me and the wife, going for one of her rides, and I was taking pictures and took pictures of this tree and got home, and man, the one picture is just covered in friggin' orbs. It's wild. And the very next picture isn't. And they were all taken from the same spot, same position, 3 or 4 pictures in a row. So it was pretty cool. So I definitely had some orb experience.
There you go.
That's just a cool one I got a picture of. But
yeah, I mean, it's just a weird thing. I mean, like Belinda said, she had a fireball experience. Well, yeah, it was the same night. I had a fireball experience with orbs. It was like I was watching a meteor shower. I'm telling you guys. We saw things that were just incredible. It was me and the roommates, and we're all outside, and we're just chilling. It's like normal. We'd go out there for meteor showers all the time, and might see one zip by. But where we're at, yeah, we're in the country, but it's not as dark as it should be. I'm still near Dallas enough where it's still kind of, the sky just wasn't dark enough. But that night it was like God was putting on a fireworks show, man. I mean, huge fireballs, huge, like just there was even a bright like almost a flash in the sky, and it was like I was like, did you guys just see that bright orange flash? Like, was that? I almost didn't realize if that was me. It was like it was almost like I'd almost liken it to almost I would say a very spiritual / paranormal event that I got to witness. And I don't know. It was really strange. And it was like during the time of the blood moons and all that kind of stuff that was going on. We were spending a lot of time outside. I watched a few of the blood moon eclipses, and yeah, we were just, experiencing all that back then when you could see stars, though. By the way, like I go out there now and I look at my sky and I'm just like, oh, it's like, it's still just upsetting to see that the stars, I just don't see what I used to see anymore. But no, it was a lot. It was a very interesting time.
You do look at them different. You do.
What's that, buddy?
The stars different. Do look at the stars differently. Wanted to show you this. This is where I am now.
Yeah.
Danny.
Okay.
I kind of moved everything around.
All right. Oh, nice. Okay. It looks a little less cluttered. Yeah.
Well, I have a big shelf thing over here that I have everything on, and for this up just behind me. This is not how it'll stay. I don't know what I'm going to do, especially if I'm going to be broadcasting. But I don't know.
Where's your microphone and stuff? I don't see you got it in front of you? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. You can see. Yeah, you see it. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Everything's.
I can get. Well, see, here's what I did with I could plug that other camera. That other camera I had on the porch. That was kind of my cat cam, the cat cam. Or not.
The cat cam. Okay. just to check on the kitties, huh? Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, I like it. It looks a little. I gotta tell you, man. Where you were before, it looked very. As a guy with OCD, I was watching your show made me feel claustrophobic, bro. I'm being honest. Like it looked like everything. Like it looked like Mandela was strangling you. That's the only way I can describe it. I was worried for you. I was
tight.
Yeah,
I thought about redoing it, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I was
all up.
It triggered me. It triggered me. My OCD. I just was like, oh, I can't take it. And then I just kept thinking of a cat jumping up there and just like knocking down everything like in a domino effect, like it's just, everything just getting wiped out
every day.
Oh, I'm sure.
Every day. I was picking.
Sure. Wow. Well, you kind of knew that was going to happen, actually. I mean, that was a no-brainer for sure. Right? They're cats. That's what they do. They're going to do things that you don't want them to do.
Hey, that's in the house. Woohoo!
Hey, you going to do a shout out, Ron?
Oh, I guess I could do a shout out.
All right, Salted Cedar's here. Why has he got a wrench, though? I'm a little jealous.
Who's that?
Wait till Puppy shows up. His wrench is huge.
Oh no! Yeah, I had the only wrench in here for a while. I felt like special. I was keeping everybody in line.
Oh, you're special.
I called my wrench. I said, "You got to start calling me the Claw." So yeah. Anyway, dang, there's a new sheriff in town, people, and it's Salted Cedar.
That's right. All right, let's do a quick shout out here. We got, let's see, Belinda Brubaker in the house, Cowboy, Ethan LaFontaine, Busy Pop, K Smalls, Lizette 102, Mandela Health and Stuff, Michelle's Opinions, and SS Sporting a Ranch. Welcome, everybody.
You know what Salted Cedar did to me the other day, don't you?
Oh no, what did he do?
So yeah, like I haven't been over to his channel in a while, but apparently what had happened, there's a story behind this, what's going on. But apparently I've been doing pirate takeovers with Fizzy Pop, as you know. Yeah. And when I go into these rooms and I take over a room, typically, I want to let people know I mean business. So I've been kicking people. If I have the wrench, I'll kick somebody and tell everybody I need a witness, and somebody gets kicked. Okay, but that's just to show everybody like I mean business. This ain't like a happy pirate takeover. This is like a real R kind of pirate takeover, So I just want people to know. So anyway, I kick Salted, and apparently he doesn't forget. So like, that was months ago that I kicked Salted out of a room. Yeah, I figure he had totally forgotten about all that, and he had let it go. But no, he didn't. I went into his room in his live stream the other night and immediately got kicked. But it was only for 300 seconds. It was a little timeout. It's all good. We're friends still. It's fine. I just wanted to tell him that was really funny, man. I did deserve it though.
You don't mess with the
SS. That's something Armor Up and I were talking about. Where's that camera? Do this. I were talking about everybody's opinion. The molecular structure of physical reality is changing. Like we should all bicker with each other. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, it's weird because I think the actual structure of your vocal cords are changing sometimes.
Oh shit! Really?
Well, because it's like,
am I breaking up every time I speak?
Well, pretty much, dude. Because every time you're talking, you get computerized, and it's like, and when you're talking about changing realities, and it's like, it's like it's kind of scary. I'm just saying, but
I'm shifting.
I just feel like
that's all right. Before you got here, we started this live broadcast, and it started live in another reality before it got to this one. We were live for
wasn't even here
15 minutes before it ever showed up. So I don't
For
know
real?
yeah, I never seen nothing like it. It showed live. We were live. We were talking, but it wasn't on YouTube anywhere.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, Dan,
Yeah.
I brought you on.
Mhm.
I brought you on so you could help us a couple Mandela effects you were talking about on your channel this week.
Oh yeah. Well, we talked about quite a few of them. Edgar Allan Poe was a big one we talked about on Mandela Monday.
With that,
Well, Edgar Allan, that's a pretty big one for anybody who's into literary works. We're talking about Edgar Allan Poe after all, and his name now is not Allen like Alan, like the Alan we all know and love. It's Allan. I just think that change is huge, dude, because it's Edgar Allan Poe.
yeah.
I'm sorry. We showed plenty of residual now, and it's like that one's a home run. It's like, oh,
yeah. I read a
Yeah.
lot of Poe in my day. So yeah.
Exactly. And it's just crazy. I mean, we were talking about, of course, the Washington Monument. The Lincoln Memorial. The Lincoln Memorial now looks as though Lincoln is about to step off the chair. He's got the left foot is now risen. And everybody remembers his feet being flat on the ground, and
What's with the Statue of Liberty
the
kicking
statue,
back?
that's what we're saying. It's like these statues seem to be. Vizzy brought up the point. She goes, Dan, it seems like these statues are trying to tell us something. It seems like they're making like a more of a motion as though if they're stepping off their pedestals.
Looks like they're about to make their move, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was like, dude, if Lincoln gets up and starts throwing blows, we're screwed. It's a big statue.
Probably make hearts men's grow weak, or men's hearts grow weak. I'll bet.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think you're right. We need to be strong spiritually.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, Salted just said Poe show. Poe show. That's funny. Look, there's a lot of strange shifty stuff going on. I just found one. I found one, and I'm so triggered by this because it's a Texas one, and I've been saying, I believe I talked to you about this, that I think that natural events that happen around the world, including volcanoes, tornadoes, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions, even, are precursors, or at least a direct result of what's happening in the changes in our planet. Meaning the physical changes that we see in the maps and the movement that we see all over the earth seems to take place after these events. In 2011, there were so many reported volcanoes and earthquakes happening in South America. And then what do we see? We see South America almost 2,000 miles from where we remember it. Australia was having a rash of earthquakes and things like that there. And what do we see? It's moved. Well, I guess about a year ago, less than a year ago, Harvey made landfall around Houston. Remember, it caused all that devastation. And it was like right off of Houston. I said, there's going to be some major changes right there on the coastline. I kept watching. I kept waiting. And then I saw it. Galveston Bay is literally 40 miles inland now. And I'm like, there is no way that Galveston Bay was 40 miles inland. Okay. It did not cut. I mean, it is ginormous. And in fact, I've been down that way a whole bunch, and there was nowhere. I mean, why the hell did we drive 30 minutes to get to over to hang out near some water and hang out on Galveston, which, by the way, sucks, when we could have went 10 minutes down the road and gone to the Galveston Bay and been like, oh, this is beautiful out here. I'm sure it's gorgeous. My point is like, there was it wasn't there, man. This is the weirdest thing. Anyway, when I looked at the maps and I was looking at Houston, and I was like, oh my God, I just couldn't believe how far inland Galveston Bay is. So big change for me that just happened. And hey, you're the first one to hear about it. Okay. So, yeah, I'll probably make a video. At least mention it. But always keeping my eye out. I there's a certain areas I'm not as good as like Nobleness D or some of those guys, man. They do a real good job.
When it comes to the map changes.
Yeah, when they
So,
him and Lone Eagle, they do a fantastic job with that. And like I said, we all bring something to the table. Some of us just have, certain things that we're more keen on. And I think that it all helps the community as a whole. And so I don't really, they do such a good job. But I do know a few places I've been, I know Texas pretty well. I try to keep my area, keep an eye out on what's going on around me. And yeah, when I seen that, man, I was like, nah, because I've been studying the Texas coastline for a while now, thinking that something was going to eventually change. And there have been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of shifty stuff going on, but I haven't really mentioned it because it's, it's really localized stuff, for most people. But the Galveston Bay one is huge. And yeah, I just, I think the earth shifting and the changes that are being made are something that some everybody should pay attention to. I mean, I thought it was profound enough to mention it on the Coast to Coast broadcast when I brought it up to Nori and I said, "Hey, why is New Zealand below Australia?" That's ultimately what got me removed from the show. But hey, you know what? I got it out there. I don't know, man. I don't know. Nori, whatever, dude. He doesn't believe. I don't know if he believes in the Mandela effect. He's just like the typical people like I met last night. I met the lady and her daughter and walked up to him. It was the produce section. Like I said, I'm a produce stalker. What can I say? But I always go in there. Yeah, well, I just feel like everyone just drops their guard in the produce section. It's a happy place, I mean, nothing bad ever happens in produce. But anyway, I walked over to this lady and I'm like, hey, you girls know about the Haas avocado? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, how do you spell it? And you can tell they seem like very smart women, and especially the daughter. She seemed like an intellectual kind of girl. And so she's like, hey, it's HAAS. I go, right. Yeah. Well, tell me why it's never been that way. It's HASS. And they're just like, what? Huh? I was like, yeah, well, maybe they just changed the name. And I was like, no, they didn't change the name. It's never been that way, hon. It's always been HASS, but you remember it HAAS, right? She goes, yeah. So do I. I said, so do I. I'm not saying your memories are wrong. I agree with you. Tell me about JCPenney. You guys shop there? And I was like one after the other, man. Bam, bam. These chicks were Mandela affected now. But here's the problem. They didn't care. It's like, how can you not care? And that's what I think Nori is. I think Nori is the guy who sees it. I think he sees it. But I don't think it just doesn't, he doesn't have any passion for it. It's not like a big deal. Like, I'm sorry, but hell, Fruit Loops is a big.
He must not see it then.
No, he sees it. He sees it. I know he sees it. The problem is, I meet people all the time that see it, bro. The problem is, there are those people who just don't see it, and then there are those who do see it, but they still don't have any passion nor care. They still want to live in the world. They don't want to believe. They don't want to, because
so
they're in denial, but it's not necessarily denial because they do believe it. It's just that they don't have any. Okay, do you remember what you were like when you were like, probably like, wow, what is going on here? This is amazing. This is something incredible. Most of us in here had that same reaction when we came. It's one thing to talk about some Berenstain Bears, but there's another effect. There was something that was a core effect for you, me, and everybody in here that made us say, oh my God, there's something that is seriously up with this world right now. What is going on? What is happening? Why do I know what it was. Okay. I'm not stupid. I remember what it was. I believe these women had the same, thoughts. The problem is they don't care. It's like, it's not something that is in their core. They don't, and I don't know why. I mean,
it's not going to matter.
Well,
Because
I think I think what I did was planted a seed, right?
right,
So maybe later they come to it, but right now, right now at this time, they are not ready, okay, to go any further. You understand? You have to be, I believe, and this is just my belief, but I believe that every individual here that sees the effect and it's here tonight, and others, the ones that really do care about what's taking place, you have to be. It's almost a calling, or you have to be ready for it. I don't think you can just be taught it. You understand what I'm saying? I know this because I've tried to teach, and it doesn't work. And I promise you, I'm a good
They're
teacher.
either going to accept it or they're not.
Exactly. They're either going to accept it or they're not. And if you're not ready spiritually to accept this, you're not ready. So though I said in my last podcast, I said, stop it. There's no need. We're on our own, people. Just deal with it. People will come when they're ready. And when they come, you welcome them in with open arms. Okay? But until that time, stop wasting your breath trying to wake people up.
Yeah, I was
even
talking to a guy today.
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy today that said, I was talking to him about all this, and he totally accepted it. He was like, wow. But he started to make excuses. Well, maybe we think the yellow sign's yellow because
sure.
stoplight, caution. He was making all these excuses. And I'm like, okay. And he said, but wow, how many about this? And how many people are affected or something like that? And I said, well, I don't know, but there's got to be tens of thousands all over the country, at least all over the world, noticing thousands of changes in history. And we're all noticing it at the same time in history, which, that doesn't make sense either. And he said, but there's so willing to create. This is the population of the world to get this moving, because you need to get this information out. The people that are supposed to have already taken over the minds of the public.
This has to be from the Holy Spirit. It just does, because
if they're creating,
we're being selected, and that's just all there is to it. I just believe that now. I believe that people are just selected for this task at this time. No, it's because and don't ask me why, but the only thing I can say is that personally, I've always looked at the world in amazement, and since I was a kid, and wondered what the hell all this was. I was never normal. I think that most of us pretty much, we probably went through a time in our lives where we were in the world more so than we were now. But now we've developed spiritually enough where we're ready for this particular task. And I just think that that's what it is. And there's others that are developing spiritually every day. And in time, they will also, come when it's time.
Theory goes along with, everybody's living in their own world, and they're going to get it in their own time. And if it takes more lifetimes. Now, I understand this is just a theory, but if that's the case, they're going to do it when they're ready. But at the other is, I don't want to stop preaching witnessed, meaning Mandela effects, because I'm sure there's some people out there that are supposed to be reached that just they're so polluted.
I think it's okay to it's okay if you'd like, to mention it to people. I think it's always great to plant seeds. I think, but remember, you're planting for a future time.
For them.
Yes.
What are we to do? We're okay. In the meantime.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, nothing happens quickly. I mean, you have to wait for the right time. And like I said, you planted that seed, and that's good. And I say that's what you should do. You shouldn't be, all I'm saying is, don't get your hopes up that people are just going to be in awe. Like I said, I haven't met anybody that reacted the way I did about it, and you probably won't react to anybody the way. Not really. I mean, but my point is the
Some
next
people at the
day they're
bar.
going to go back. The next day they're going to go back into the world. Okay, they're going
Yeah,
to.
because they got to pay their bills and they got to
Sure,
take the kids to
sure.
school.
But this tells you
Physical
that all
stuff.
that shit is not important. You know what I
Yeah, but
mean?
all that shit is not important to say this, but all the stuff that
Ultimately, it's not important. It's
all the
just
negative stuff going on in the world isn't either. Then, right?
well, a lot of that's fake. A lot of that's
Okay.
manufactured. I mean, what?
To
I mean, come on, man. North
control.
Korea? You think that's real? You think that really?
No, I was
You think
going
they got
towards the
nukes?
children and the pedophilia with
Well,
that.
sure. And and I'm not saying that, well, Sandy Hook, did any kids die? Because I
No,
don't think
nobody.
they,
That was so fake.
okay, thank you. That's my point. Like they lie about everything. I'm not saying that tragedies don't happen. Oh, sure they do. But I'm saying what you get on the mainstream, man, you got to question it all. I don't know if I don't think that those people tell the truth about, man, they hardly tell the truth about anything. I mean,
They
just,
just want ratings.
it's just terrible. Yeah, it's awful. And so, yeah, I'm not saying bad things aren't happening. Surely they are. But at the same time, I'm saying, yeah, man, it really, in the grand scheme of things, that's why I think that's why I have faith, in God, because that tells me that, in my opinion, we can't control what this is going on in this physical reality because it's not ours, so we have to be in the spiritual. We have to be connected to
You're
God.
not.
Mm,
You're witnessing what is in reality, what's going on in your life, what's around you. That's what you.
oh man,
I want
I'm
you
having a
to. I
hard time
want you
hearing
to.
you.
But no,
Mm.
it's about the creating thing
Uh-huh.
and controlling.
Uh-huh.
And if there's any doubt, you're not going to be able to do it. That makes sense.
Yeah, sure, but I mean,
Well, there's a doubt.
ultimately, what do you think we can create? Give me some examples.
Examples. I think we can create a life that the negativity in it. This 1,000 years of peace I heard about in the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think
I
that's around the corner. And because I think it, I don't know it. But
right.
that's where I vibrate toward it. And I think other there in their dimension there, but I think
I think that
the
we can
knowing,
affect change around us. Okay.
yes,
I
I
do believe
have been.
that. Absolutely. And I
I've
do
been
believe that.
okay.
And
Well,
I
how's
think
that?
collectively that power gets stronger. But ultimately it doesn't
Yes.
happen unless we're connected to God. Period.
Well, yeah,
You know?
I can go with that. I mean, yeah, but anything else is going to be negative. Well, see, now that I'm going to contradict myself over here. It's a negative or positive. God,
Like I
bad.
said, I think they
Those little,
use negativity. I think they use the negative energies and things like that to keep us subservient to fear. I think we have to, we do have to remove the fear, but at the same time, respect the fact that, we do know tragedies happen and things happen around us all the time. People get hurt, people, need your help, people, whatever, it's always, I'm not saying, you don't just, you turn a blind eye to people in need. No, I'm saying that you have to do what you can. But ultimately, we are seeing a world changing, and what it's telling me personally is that there's a lot of things that I wouldn't say everything, but there's a lot of things in this world that I gave a shit about. Sorry to cuss, but I did. I gave a crap about that. I realized that it is, man, it does not matter. I remember thinking, I lost a $400 drone, man. That sucker didn't come back. I still blame God for that one. I really do. I think God took my drone. I do. Because that drone had always come back, and I had programmed it to do a little flight, and that sucker never came. And I'm telling you, it's almost like I knew that. I had this feeling like, man, that drone ain't coming back. I don't know why I think that, and it surely didn't. I was waiting. I was standing outside looking up at the sky like an idiot, waiting on my drone to show back up, and nope. Mm-mm. So now I thought to myself, now the old me would have been absolutely livid that I just lost my, you know what? But I just realized, like, it's just a thing. It's just something material, dude. It's no, it doesn't, it's like it, I've noticed, like, the good thing about talking to people in the about Mandela effect, or even people here tonight, the cool thing about what I've learned is that it's amazing, but I think we're learning to reconnect again on levels that we had forgotten. And I think when you talk to people one-on-one, and you're having these conversations, deeper conversations about the meaning of life and things like that, I think it's working in the spiritual realm. I think that everything we're doing now, waking up to this and reconnecting on those levels with all people of all walks of life, is a good thing. And I think ultimately will have a positive benefit in our world.
Oh, I love that, and I definitely think we're headed in the right going on. Even though at this point, I just want to just kind of accept what's going on around me. I want to accept the mix, not quite to the point where, well, I don't even care. So I don't want to go that far. I don't think I need to, but I think for me to lift a veil, trying to that's my next lesson, to just accept me and just to know things are going to be the way. See, I don't want to, I still got armor up. I want to say the way that I desire, but it's a combination. You are still on, yeah? Armor up.
You broke up a little bit there, but yep, I'm still here.
No kidding. Really?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think you're repping out on us, man. I'm just waiting for you to turn into a lizard. I'm just saying, like you just show your true self, the lizard.
Guys, did you ever think that we just might be batteries?
Batteries?
Yeah, it's just to keep the battery going and then get to a certain age.
I think they want to turn us into batteries. I think I think if you were talking about the controllers or the archons or the demonic realm, the spiritual, the higher realms above us, I think that's what ultimately they were wanting to do, is make us batteries. I think that I think that's falling away. I think that I see a world that is changing all around me, and I see a lot of new and beautiful things being created, and that gives me a lot of hope. I do not believe that the world is destroyed the way we've been taught. I think that I think maybe it's more of a fading away of the world itself, sort of, just as the new changes and a new world appears. Because I sure tell you what, I'm seeing a new world in front of me right now, and I cannot deny that. So I would say that, there's a lot of beautiful things that are being created every day, animals and places where people are thriving that weren't thriving before, and a lot of positivity. So, I'd say, there's still negativity and there's still the negative side, but I would say for those who want hope in the Mandela effect, focus on that stuff and, know that God is good.
Oh, how about we wrap it up? Armor up.
Yep.
Thanks a lot for being my guest tonight.
I enjoyed it immensely, brother. I always love talking to you.
Excellent.
Happy to come on anytime.
Thanks for coming up.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, anytime. Are you kidding me? Who knows? You may get every once in a while.
Yeah, man, it's always a pleasure, man. I do wish, I do hope you get your audio worked out, or, whatever's going on over there, because,
I hope it ain't that big.
yeah, man, I don't know what the heck that's all about, but normally we can hear you really good, just not tonight. Yeah.
I might have to rethink this setup. That's all.
Oh, I see.
Or maybe I'll have to come on your show.
Heck yeah,
I
yeah,
got
come
a
on
couple
over.
other people and see
Sure,
how I
man.
do just as a guest.
Heck yeah.
I got a couple shows. I'm going to go on. I'm not sure what check with him. And is her name Martha? Is that what her channel is? Yeah. Yeah, wasn't this a Dark Wolf that I'd go on his channel. I off to the stuff and talk to it. Danny, you going on her show?
I'm sorry, sir. Whose show?
Michelle's Opinions.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't have it scheduled or anything like that, but I'll probably head over
I
there
mean
at
to
some
put you
point.
on the spot.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, thanks for putting me on the spot, man. No, Michelle did me a solid tonight, so I owe her one, man. So I gotta, if she wants me over there, I'd be happy to do it.
All right, I just figured I'd come back and show myself again. And have a good night.
Definitely,
Thank you, brother. Have a great night, guys.
definitely good to see you back, brother. Glad I could be here.